Does it matter how many people take your survey? I just finished teaching a survey workshop a couple hours ago, and I was surprised by how many people had questions about the number of people taking your survey and response rate. Response rate is like how many people took your survey divided by how many people could have taken your survey times 100 to make it a percentage. Questions like, how many people do I need to take my survey? What is a good response rate? If only this many people answer it, like, is that bad? Can I still use that data? Great questions. Possibly controversial, unpopular opinion. I don't actually care that much about how many people take your survey. I care more about who took your survey and what they have in common. Like, is more people better? Yes. In my opinion, you always want as many people as possible to take your survey because more information, as long as your questions are good, is better. However, if you did a survey of 100 people who work for you and only 30 people answered that survey, does that mean you shouldn't even look at the responses, or that the information you learned isn't good? No, it just means there's really important context when you are sharing that information or when you are interpreting it or using it to make decisions. You have data from 30 people. I would first want to know, what did those 30 people have in common? Why? Because the characteristics that people share will help you make sense of that data. If it was only 30 out of 100 people and all 30 of those people happen to be women, you might feel differently about that data than if it actually reflected the split of your company. Same with by role. If those 30 people all had similar job types, you might not want to use it to make decisions about all job types because you only have data from people with very similar jobs. It's not that you can't use that information because it was only 30 out of 100. It's just that that's important context to keep in mind. I did a survey initiative a couple years ago, oh my God, probably a decade ago now, for a school district. And I remember them being really excited that we had a 5 to 7 response rate for a family survey. That was a high response rate for them. 5 to 7 sounds low, but the amount of people that was compared to what they normally get in terms of feedback from families was really good. So there is no, in my opinion, hard and fast rule that this response rate is good, this number of people is good. It depends. And the important part is that you are always transparent. If only 7 people answered your survey, don't pretend you have results from hundreds of thousands of people. Be hey, it was only 7 and this is what I learned from these 7 people of these things in common. There is one case where I think the number really, really matters. It is this. If you have given people an expectation of privacy or anonymity, nobody will know how you responded, then I start to get nervous when you only have very few number of responses. And it has to do with subgroups. Let's say I'm working for a tech company and it's all males and then me and 4 other people who identify as a woman. So in total, there are only 5 women in that tech company, and everyone, let's say everyone takes the survey in the whole tech company. They have great response rates, but now they want to cut it by gender. I would say no, because I think looking at the responses with only 5 people who are identifying as women, you might be able to tell who responded in which way on each question. That compromises privacy. So in that sense, the numbers do matter. Thoughts?